Morning light hits a quiet residential street. A small crowd has gathered outside a front door. The neighbors report hearing a struggle from inside just hours ago. Frantic, desperate noises. But now, the house is silent. They force the lock and step inside. The interior presents a physical impossibility. Every window is latched from the inside. The deadbolts on the front door are fully thrown. The house is a sealed box. Yet the resident, Arjun, is nowhere to be found. He has vanished without leaving a single exit point. The physical trace left behind is scrawled directly onto the inside of that locked wooden door. In dark, fresh blood, a single Hindi phrase reads, Darwaze kholna hi nahi chahiye tha. The door should not have been opened. This wasn't a standard exit. For a man to disappear from a secured room, the laws of physics had to be bypassed by something that doesn't respect the integrity of a locked door. To understand the nature of this disappearance, we have to look at the 24 hours leading up to the neighbor's arrival. It is 3 a.m. the previous night, and Arjun is waking up to a sound he can't explain. Retracing his steps reveals that the violence in the hallway didn't begin with a physical entry. The breach began days earlier, during a session with a game that Arjun believed had failed. At exactly 3 a.m., Arjun is pulled from sleep by 3 slow, deliberate knocks. They are heavy, rhythmic, and coming from his front door. He walks to the entrance, his heart rate climbing. He looks through the peephole to see who would be visiting at this hour. But the hallway is empty. There is only the static dark of the corridor and the sound of his own breathing. This diagram tracks the shift in the threat's location. We start with the pulsing red dot outside the front door, the perceived origin of the knock. Arjun starts to turn back toward his bedroom. But then a voice asks, "Why didn't you open the door?" And it's coming from the dark space directly behind him. The entity ignores the physical geography of the apartment. The red dot abruptly teleports from the external hallway to a position directly behind Arjun, inside the locked perimeter. The deadbolts are irrelevant because the threat has already manifested within the safe zone. Arjun spins around, reaching for the light switch to finally see what is in the room with him. He clicks the switch. The lights stay dark. The entire electrical system has been neutralized, leaving him with no visual control over the space. When an entity can bypass physical barriers and disable the environment at will, the architecture of the house itself begins to feel like a cage. From the floor above, a new sound begins, the heavy, grinding noise of something being dragged across the roof. It is a persistent, scraping lure that pulls Arjun toward the stairwell. He reaches the roof and sweeps his flashlight across the concrete. There is no intruder. There is only a broken wooden chair, rocking back and forth with a violence that gravity and wind cannot explain. As he stares at the chair, the roof door behind him slams shut with enough force to shake the floorboards. He grabs the handle, but it won't budge. It has been locked from the inside, trapping him in the open air. A woman in black stands at the edge of his flashlight beam. Her eyes are entirely white, devoid of pupils or irises. She doesn't move. She simply watches him. Arjun yells, demanding to know who she is and how she got there. The woman tilts her head and offers a single explanation. "You called me." Her words bring back a specific memory from 3 nights prior. A group of friends, a Ouija board on a table, and their collective boredom when the planchette didn't move. They thought the ritual had been a dud, but the lack of immediate results didn't mean the ritual failed. It only meant the response was delayed. The invitation was accepted that night, and the entity has now arrived to settle the debt. She reaches for him, and the screen goes black. Arjun gasps, his eyes snapping open. He's in his own bed. His sheets are damp with sweat, but he is alone, and the room is quiet. The roof, the woman, the locked door, it was a nightmare. He sits up, trying to slow his breathing. The memory of the Ouija board had clearly triggered a deep-seated anxiety, manifesting as a vivid, terrifying dream about the consequences of that night. He reaches for a glass of water, finally feeling the adrenaline begin to recede. Then, 3 slow, distinct knocks echo from the bedroom door. The boundary between the dream and the waking world collapses. Arjun walks to the door, and looks through the peephole. The woman with the white eyes is standing in the hallway. She slowly tilts her head up and smiles directly into the lens, acknowledging that he is now watching her. Her voice comes through the door, no longer a whisper, but a command. Open it now. The encounter that follows explains the blood found on the wall the next morning. We return to the present day. The police find an empty house, a set of undisturbed locks, and the warning Arjun left behind in his final moments. The case of Arjun serves as a study in spiritual boundaries. Tools like Ouija boards act as invitations. Once you provide a way in, you lose the ability to choose what decides to walk through the door.